Lee had just returned from another exhausting day at the office. The rain outside painted silver streaks across the window, and the city lights flickered like restless thoughts in his mind. He loosened his tie, longing for a moment of peace, but peace was the last thing waiting for him tonight. Sam stood in the living room, unusually quiet. She wasn't smiling, nor did she rush to greet him like she often did. Instead, she clasped her hands tightly in front of her, as if gathering courage. "Lee," she said softly. Something in her tone made him freeze. She took a deep breath. "I'm pregnant." The words fell like thunder. For a split second, the world went silent. Lee's mind went blank, his heartbeat stumbling wildly between disbelief and joy. Pregnant? With his child? "Sam, are you certain?" he whispered, barely trusting his own voice. She nodded, her eyes shimmering, but not just with happiness. There was something else inside them. Determination, fear, a demand unspoken. Before Lee could process the news, Sam continued, her voice firmer this time. "If you truly care about me, about us, then prove it. I want a house, not just any house. A place worthy of our child's future." Lee blinked. "What do you mean?" She met his gaze without hesitation. "I want you to buy me $1 billion house." The air between them turned electric. Lee didn't know whether to laugh, to question, or to be offended. The woman he loved had just dropped 2 bombs in a single breath, one of life, and one of luxury. Was this a test, a negotiation, or was this her way of protecting their unborn child? He took a step closer, searching her face. "Sam, why ask for something like that now? Do you think love can be measured in money?" She clenched her jaw, looking away, and in that moment, Lee saw it. Not greed, not arrogance, but wounds. Old, deep, invisible wounds. "I don't need your flowers, your promises, or your sweet words," Sam whispered bitterly. "I need security. I need proof. If one day you walk away, at least my child will have a home." Lee fell silent. The storm outside raged louder, but inside, another storm was just beginning. Lee stood frozen, caught between pride and empathy. The woman in front of him was not the soft, gentle Sam he knew. She was guarded, fierce, and trembling beneath her calm. He approached her slowly. "Sam, look at me." She hesitated, then lifted her eyes. There it was, the truth, fear, not of him, but of the world. Lee's voice lowered. "Who hurt you so deeply that you think you must bargain for love?" Sam looked away, her lips pressing tightly together. "This isn't about love." "It is," he insisted gently. "You wouldn't ask for something so outrageous, unless your heart was screaming for protection." Her shoulders tensed. Lee took another step forward. "Tell me," he whispered. "What are you so afraid of?" Silence. Then, slowly, Sam finally spoke, but her voice trembled like someone peeling open an old scar. "You know nothing about my past, Lee. You don't know how my mother was abandoned when she was pregnant. How she cried every night because she had nowhere to go. How we were chased out of one house after another, because no one wanted to help a single mother with a child." Lee's chest tightened. "I swore," Sam continued, her eyes burning with tears she refused to let fall, "that if I ever had a child, I would never let them be homeless. Never let them live dependent on anyone's pity, not even yours." Lee's breath caught. Her demand wasn't greed, it was trauma. He reached out to touch her hand, but she pulled away. "Don't pity me," she said sharply. "Just answer one question, Lee." She looked him dead in the eyes. "Can you give me that house? Or will you leave like everyone else?" The question struck like a blade, sharp, direct, demanding truth. Lee didn't answer immediately. Not because he couldn't, but because he knew his next words would determine everything. Lee remained silent for a long moment, not out of hesitation, but out of reverence. This wasn't just a question about a house. It was about trust, legacy, a promise written not in ink, but in security. He slowly exhaled, then said firmly, "I won't leave." Sam's brows drew together, unsure if she believed him. Lee continued. But if you want a house worth $1 billion. Her heart jolted, preparing for disappointment. Then it won't be just yours. She blinked. What? Lee stepped closer, voice steady. It will be ours. A home we build together. A place where our child doesn't just live, they belong. To Sam's walls trembled. But Lee wasn't done. You asked me for a house because you're scared of losing everything, he said softly. So let's make sure you never have to lose anything alone again. Her lips parted, stunned not by the promise, but by the certainty in his voice. Lee gently reached for her hands. This time, she didn't pull away. You don't have to test me, Sam, he whispered. If you're truly pregnant, then you've already given me the greatest gift. Her breath trembled. But still, fear lingered. What if one day you regret it, she whispered. What if I become a burden? Lee didn't answer with words. Instead, he stepped closer, placed her hand over his heartbeat, and said, if loving you is a burden, then let me carry it proudly. To Sam finally broke. Her tears fell, not in weakness, but in surrender. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to believe. For a moment, time stood still. Sam trembled in Lee's arms, not from weakness, but from the shocking realization that someone was willing to stay. But reality, like always, found its way back. She gently stepped away, wiping her tears. Lee, I have to tell you something. His expression shifted. Calm, but alert. She hesitated, then spoke. I don't know for sure if I'm pregnant yet. Lee didn't move, didn't speak. She continued, voice shaky. I was late. I panicked. And before I could even test, I came to you saying those words. I know it was reckless. I wanted to know if you would choose me, even if things got complicated. A long silence filled the room. Lee stared at her, unreadable. Then, to her surprise, he smiled. Not mockery, not disappointment, just quiet relief. So you mean, he said slowly, I might not be a father yet. She blinked, confused. Why's good? He chuckled lightly. Then we'll find out together. Before she could react, he grabbed his keys. Come on, what? To buy a pregnancy test, and afterward he looked at her with a soft determination. We go see that house. Her heart skipped. Even if I'm not, he cut her off. I'm not buying a house because you might be pregnant, Sam, he said firmly. I'm buying it because I've already decided. He took her hand. I want you in my future, with or without a child. This time, she didn't cry. She simply nodded. Not as a woman begging for security, but as someone finally ready to build a home, not out of fear, but out of love. In love, we often believe that security comes from possessions, a house, a title, a ring, or financial promises. But Lie to Sam's story reminds us of a deeper truth. True safety is not found in walls of concrete, but in someone's unwavering decision to stay. To Sam was not greedy when she asked for $1 billion house. She was afraid. Her demand did not come from vanity but from trauma. She had witnessed abandonment, poverty, and instability. Her request was not for luxury, it was for assurance. But fear-based love is unstable. When we love with constant suspicion, will they leave? Will they betray me? We build relationships like fortresses, guarded and cold. We test the other person, hoping they will prove their loyalty. Yet what we truly desire is not proof, but peace. Lee understood this. Instead of reacting with anger or pride, he responded with patience and clarity. He didn't dismiss her fears, he held them. He didn't just say, I love you. He said, I choose you, even on uncertain ground. That is the kind of love that heals. The lesson here is powerful. Love is not a transaction, it is a commitment. If you give love only when conditions are perfect, it is not love but negotiation. Do not confuse protection with possession. A house can shelter you, but only a heart can make you feel at home. The right partner will not run from your wounds, they will help you bandage them. In the end, Sam did not gain security from the promise of a house. She found it in something far more valuable, a love that stayed, even when certainty did not. So if you love someone, choose them fully, not when things are easy, not when you are guaranteed safety, but when fear is present and you still decide to stand beside them. Because that is the kind of love that turns panic into peace and buildings into homes. Continuation of the life lesson. What real commitment looks like. Love is not proven in comfort, it is revealed in uncertainty. Lie to Sam's moment of honesty, when she confessed her fear of abandonment, could have shattered everything. Instead, it became the turning point. Because true love does not flee at the first sign of difficulty, it leans in closer. Lee did not respond with judgment. He responded with responsibility. And that makes all the difference. Another lesson we learn from their story. Healing doesn't always come from apologies. Sometimes it comes from consistency. Sam didn't need Lee to say, "Don't be afraid." She needed him to show her that she no longer had to be, well. Too often, we think love is about romance, when in truth, it is about reliability. It's waking up every day and choosing the same person. It's not running away when things get heavy. It's being patient with scars you didn't cause, but are willing to help mend. For anyone who has been hurt before, you don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. You don't have to demand love through tests and conditions. The right person will not just accept your armor, they will gently help you take it off. And for anyone who loves someone who is guarded, understand this: their walls were not built to shut you out. They were built to protect themselves. Do not try to tear them down forcefully. Instead, knock on them, patiently, until they let you in. Final thought. Love is not proven by grand gestures alone. Sometimes, the greatest vow is simply this: I will stay. Even when you are scared, even when you don't know how to trust yet. I will not love you because it's convenient. I will love you because it's my decision. That is not just romance. That is courage. That is home. There is one more lesson hidden beneath Lyda, Sam, and Lee's story, a lesson about power. At first glance, Sam's bold demand for a house might seem like control, but in truth, she wasn't trying to dominate, she was trying to protect. Her past had taught her that whoever holds the power holds the future. She believed security could only be bought. But Lee taught her something different. Real love is not about who holds the power, it's about who shares it. A controlling love says, "Give me what I want, or I will leave." But a mature love says, "Let's build it together." So neither of us has to fear loss.